many things over the years. The most recent thing I've been doing is I've been consulting with multiple companies, from recruiting to change management, culture, and goal setting. So it's been that's about the last year. I've also designed a training and development course in one of my last roles. And then prior to that, I was the SVP for a business unit of McKesson and ran HR for that business unit, which was about $18 billion business unit and about 4,000 people. I think the thing about organizations and change management is that they do a really good job of making sure there's a good plan, a good tactical plan. What organizations generally forget, though, is that any change is going to take an emotional toll on the people that are being changed. Doesn't matter if it's a good change or a bad change, whatever it is, I'm going to have to give up something for you to have your change. And so that gives me a loss and makes me, I guess, a little more suspicious about what's going on. It makes the whole situation feel very uncomfortable, and people forget about the comfort level of those that they're trying to change. Usually when a leadership team says we're going to make a change, they've been processing it mentally for a long time before they tell the employees. And so they are already over that hump, and they don't remember that they're dealing with people that haven't had the opportunity to process it and to understand what it means to them. The biggest thing to consider is to figure out what someone is losing in the change. Okay, if you are changing a software system, then you think that's pretty easy and pretty tactical. Well, if I am very much invested in the one that you have now, then the ability to make that software system, you're making my software system go away to replace it with yours. And so I have a loss when that system leaves. And so I'm processing that loss and having difficulty. And like any grief scenario, you're going through the denial and denial, you're angry and you're confused, and then ultimately you'll accept it, but it takes a while. Okay, and I don't think companies realize that there is that process there. It's also, when you're angry and upset, you don't listen very well. So you think as a leader that you've told everybody what's going to happen, but you've got to tell them 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and you've got to tell them in a lot of different ways. Okay, if I process better with verbally, you need to talk to me. If I process better with visuals, if I process better with writing, you have to make sure that you get to me, and then you have to keep doing it, because the ability to understand what's happening and change is very emotional, and it doesn't make a difference what the change is. It's emotional. Right now, we're seeing that a lot with going back to the office. When you consider the fact that people have had a different state of work for the last however long they've been out of their office, and now they're going back to a new state of work. So let's say you've been home for most of the pandemic and you've enjoyed the flexibility. You've not had to commute. You've been able to sleep longer. You see your kids more. You actually are able to have lunch outside with your dog. I mean, all those things that might make you lose something are going to go into play when you go back to the office. Now, the flip side is when you go back to the office, you have your colleagues, you have collaboration, you have teamwork, you have all the things that made the office a fun place and a nice place to work before, but you're in your mind, you're giving up quite a bit. So you have to work with employees to process that loss and understand that there's value in what they're going to, and that there can be opportunity to create that value, and also be a little bit more willing, especially in this case, to compromise. I think right now, especially, you've got a bunch of people on the financial side saying, great, we can, have less office space, we'll bring people in, on a hybrid work schedule and all these things. But what they don't realize is they are confusing a workforce until they have a really good understanding of what that looks like. And until they explain it and help people understand the value and what they gain from the loss, then they're going to be very, very upset and have a real difficulty. That's why we're hearing a lot about the Great Resignation, and people are quote unquote leaving work in droves. Well, they're looking for opportunities that let them keep what they liked, because no one has sold them into the next iteration.